Boom, stop. I'm David Tian, and in this episode of Man Up, I answer the question, is too much masculinity toxic? Welcome to the Man Up Show.
Masculinity for the intelligent man. I'm David Tian, Ph.D., and this is
Man Up! Hey, I'm David Tian, and for over the past 11 years, I've been helping hundreds of thousands of people in over 87 countries attain success, happiness, and fulfillment in life and love. And welcome to the Man Up Show. I'm in a beautiful location here in Japan, rural Japan, at a gorgeous ryokan onsen in the mountains. So we're moving to another ryokan in the mountains. But before we do so, got a question here from Armin. And this is actually one of our private Facebook groups, but it pertains to a lot of the questions I've been seeing in the Man Up group. So let's get into it. And I'm going to read quite a bit of his question because I think just getting the question clear is quite instructive. So Armin's question here is, he's got a question concerning the dark side drill and masculine energy. So the dark side drill is a drill that I created and is included in the Invincible course and in the Masculine Mastery Rock Solid Relationships course. It's an amazing thing. In fact, we're creating a separate version of it, a new version that is also accessible to women. For men and women. So the dark side drill is basically a drill that helps you access your dark side and harness it and get it under control. This is a very narrow road and big cars are going by because it is right around that time when people are checking out of the property, and so that's the big noise you hear going by. Anyway, so his question: I have made a lot of I have done a lot of exercises in the past to get into my inner warrior or into the masculine, more primal part of me. Which always created good results for me. And so this has always had a very positive impact on me in my daily life with no negative side effects. I will be more, editing as I go along because English is not his best language. I will be more masculine and still keep a high level of empathy / connection / feminine energies in general. However, there were also times when I did a daily round of dark side drill. And by the way, he tried to do it daily. I recommend no more than once a week because it's an incredibly powerful drill. And you'll see why. Actually, I recommend it at most once a week. And in fact, if you just do it once in your life or a few times in your life, you already have a lot of benefits, a big spike in your masculinity. But he's tried to do it daily. So this is one side effect if you do it daily, one potential side effect. So he says, I always had the impression that this creates a little bit more intense results doing it more often. I see it in myself that I will go through my day in a more aggressive way. And that's aggressive isn't good. Assertive is good. Aggressive is not good. Aggressive is where you're attacking, you're intruding, so asserting is where you're defending and you're drawing your boundaries. Okay, so I know that this is a good state for achieving and getting things done. However, a good state for achieving getting things done is the masculinity. You can hear them processing through these pipes, all of that hot spring water piped into the tubs up there. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, I hope it's not too noisy. So it's good for achieving and getting things done. However, a negative side effect of this is that I have a harder time to relax or calm down again. And this goes even deeper. He says, on the one hand, I will go through my day in a more masculine achieving energy, but I will also have a harder time to connect with people and myself in general. I will feel more exhausted and easier to be irritable, and I will lose empathy to other people by doing, if I do dark side drill every day. I will be more impatient, and I feel that I will take more emotional people less seriously, like girls, which results often in connection problems with these people. I assume that this is also a result of my descending empathy when doing dark side drill every day. To me, this is a serious problem. Okay, so this is the question here. To me, this is a serious problem because this issue will actually make it harder for me to relate to my partner in my relationship with women in general. And he's just asking for insight. So there are two answers to this. The first is the shorter one. So the shorter one is, obviously, dude, I said no more than once a week. You're doing it every day. So what did you expect? Now you're a freaking Hulk, right? So the Hulk is actually a good example of the masculine energy taken too far. So this is where you're out of control rage and if your testosterone levels are too high for you to manage, not only will you not be able to control yourself emotionally and psychologically, but also physiologically, you're going to break out in pimples and you'll have other nasty physical side effects. So that's sort of the same effect. But even without steroids or expensive and very inconvenient testosterone replacement. You can do it through your mind, which is an amazing thing. Your mind, your brain tells the rest of your body, you need all this extra testosterone, and it just starts pumping it into your body. It's pretty amazing. The dark side drill, which I invented, which is amazing, has this effect, right? So Armin, you're experiencing it. I said no more than once a week. The doctor said once a week, a maximum, and you're overdosing. So you're overdosing. Obviously, you're not going to feel. It's not going to be as easy for you to empathize and be vulnerable and get into your feminine side. So the longer answer is, I've done a whole other podcast on this. It's not in the Man Up podcast. It's in our more reflective, more philosophical podcast, which is the DT Ph.D. podcast. DT Ph.D. podcast. I did this one with our guest Henry Chung. And it was on masculine, feminine energies. Okay, so go look that up. I'll try to make sure we get that linked in the text, in the show notes to this video. So the DT PhD podcast on masculine, feminine energies makes one of the many points we make is that a mature human being is a mixture, a harmonious balance of feminine and masculine energies. So is it possible to be too masculine? Yes, obviously. If you're like 99% masculine, you're going to be toxically masculine. This is masculinity without any balancing. It's just like it's the same with the feminine. If you have 99% feminine energy, this is going to be toxically feminine. It's just toxic. You need to balance the system. And most people, because of their biology, because of the hormones that are already pumped into their bodies naturally, have a home energy. So you're often more in your core, masculine or feminine, and that's often determined by your biological sex. So a very masculine man, but who's also mature, might be 80-20, right? 80% masculine energy, that 20% of feminine energy allows him to play with his 3-year-old daughter when she comes running up to him with her My Little Pony dolls. It allows him to be playful and to be more empathic and more compassionate and all that. Same with a woman. If that 80-20, 80% feminine, 20% masculine, that 20% masculine helps her to get shit done, helps her to be more assertive, helps her to have that killer instinct and go and get shit done, right? Like, so all of that helps. It's pretty tight here. These guys are gonna have to do a 3-point turn. So all of those, I think this is for them to come out onto a little bit. I'm standing on a little divot on this road. I just realized what it's for. Sorry. Anyway, so we're standing in there. All right, so it's a balance. So is it possible to be too much of one? Yes. And is it good to be too much of one? Obviously not, because it's too much. So 80-20 is like probably the maximum that you want to have, like 80% of any one energy. 70-30 is good. There are a lot of seducers in history who it seems have had something like a 60-40 split. Dandies are a good example of this, the dandy archetype of like for the man, it's the man who looks like he might be like borderline gay in his fashion, for instance, and in his movements, and has a lot of connection with women. So some modern day dandies would be Russell Brand in his flair, Prince, bless his soul, and other people like this. You'll find, there's a great exposition of dandies in Robert Greene's book, The Art of Seduction. So you can look that up and you can trace some examples from there based on the primary sources he cites. I believe that in Asian literature, The Tale of Genji, the Pillow Book, those are all depictions of dandies, as well as in the Chinese tradition, the Dream of the Red Chamber. We're in Japan, so they have actually a long history of dandies being seductive. And that's a 60-40, even maybe a 55-45 split in masculine feminine energies. So there you go. That's the longer answer. If you want to get into more detail about this, I've done a whole separate podcast on it. Go look that up. Hopefully we can link it up for you on masculine feminine polarities in the DT PhD podcast. All right. Thanks a lot, Armin, for the question. Got to get running now. Until next time, join the private Facebook group, click the link, join the group. We've got like 23,000 guys in there. In fact, the comments and answers to the questions that are posted are already quite good, so much so that I haven't felt the need to post a video for so long, because a lot of the questions get handled right there in the comments. And notice that this one is actually not even in the Man Up group. So the Man Up group is a great resource to get your answers. So join the group and interact with the community there. I'll see you inside the group. Until then, David Tian signing out. Man up.